July 20th may well be remembered as one of the defining dates in India's student movement. What began as a major protest at Delhi's Jantar Mantar under the banner of Cockroach Janata Party demanding accountability over the NEET paper leak quickly transformed into a nationwide movement that put unprecedented pressure on the union government. 5 days later, on July 25th, Dharmendra Pradhan resigned. The Union Education Minister publicly shared his resignation letter, marking one of the biggest and rather unusual political developments in India since 2014. Well, it was one of the central demands by the protesters. The Chalo Sansad or March to Parliament Delhi demonstration on 20th July was meant to press for accountability over the NEET paper leak, but the day descended into confrontation between protesters and police almost immediately. Tensions erupted as police lathi charge visuals went viral. Well, from the ground, videos circulated showing clashes, stone pelting, lathi charge as I mentioned, tear gas and scenes in which officers use unnecessary force against demonstrators, turning the national capital protest into a national flashpoint. Well, the scale made the protest impossible to ignore. Now, what gave the protests wider emotional force was the circulation of visuals showing police beating protesters along with footage of chaos in central Delhi. Those visuals soon became the turning point. And rather than discouraging participation, they galvanized further support. Jantar Mantar, India's designated protest site, kept on filling up. Also, demonstrations expanded beyond Delhi, with protests reported in states including Bihar, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh as students and youth group echoed demands for accountability and reforms in the examination system. Well, the movement increasingly became a broader expression of frustration over repeated examination irregularities and the uncertainty faced by the students. Well, those images also turned what had been an education issue into a larger debate about state response, protest rights, and handling of the youth anger over exam integrity. The protest gained momentum because the core demand remained unchanged. Action over the paper leak, accountability for the police crackdown, compensation for the families affected by this very crisis, and resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. On July 23rd and 24th, protests continued in multiple Indian cities, underscoring that the Delhi confrontation had already spilled into a wider social movement. Demonstrators went viral on social media. Many turned the horror into satire, something central to what the movement was all about. Remember, while the demand from the day one was the resignation of Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, it was an offhand comment by India's top judicial officer that made Abhijit Dipke to put out a meme. Yes, a meme that turned into a whole movement. On 6 June, Abhijit Dipke reached Jantar Mantar right after landing from America, and the protest had begun. Now, after days of going unheard, July 20 happened. And then came 25th July. 5 days later, the pressure produced a major political outcome, something which nobody had expected. Dharmendra Pradhan resigned from the cabinet. Well, his resignation was not only significant because it answered the protesters' main demand, but also it marked the first major political concession since NDA came to power in 2014. On the day of his exit, the government also accepted other demands, including compensation for affected families and no legal action against student protesters. So this is what happened till now, but remember, these protests have reopened a broader debate about the integrity of India's competitive examination system. Millions of students prepare every year for examinations such as NEET, often investing years of efforts and significant financial resources. And paper leaks or procedural failures therefore have consequences that extend beyond a single examination, affecting public confidence in institution responsibility for conducting these tests. Now, for many participants, July 20th represented more than a protest over one examination. It became a symbol of demands for transparency, accountability, and most importantly, trust in public examinations. And for others, it also raised difficult questions about balancing the right to peaceful protest while maintaining public order. Well, the political impact of the movement is still unfolding, and further reforms or policy changes may emerge in the week ahead. Yet, one conclusion already appears difficult to dispute. July 20th has secured a place in the story of India's student movements. What began as a protest at Jantar Mantar evolved into a nationwide campaign that reshaped the national conversation around educational accountability and culminated within days in the resignation of country's education minister. Now, whether remembered as a turning point in educational reforms, a landmark moment in youth mobilization, or a demonstration of democratic pressure influence public policy, July 20th should remain a significant date in India's contemporary political and educational history. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm Yash Goel signing off from Times Now Digital. Until next time, take care and keep watching this space for more such videos.